Today we're going to talk about gut health. Gut health is a super popular topic that everyone has all kinds of information on, and I want to give you my 10 best tips to solve your gut health issues. If you have not hit the subscribe button yet, hit that button to make sure that you don't miss any episodes related to women's health, hormones, or holistic health. So, like I mentioned, so many people are talking about gut health, and I really just want to give you 10 basic things to do to really help your gut and prevent gut health issues, or if you do think that you have gut health issues, kind of help yourself with healing those. I get people all the time that send me these really in-depth, like gene type of tests and gut health tests and all these things. And while they're interesting and I read through them, I think some of them are not necessarily based on evidence. And I also think that we really narrow into these like really tiny little details, and we miss like this big picture. So I am much more of a big picture type of person because it's way less overwhelming. And sure, there's some individualized things that people can do based on what's going on, their individual aspects of their health, their genetics, those types of things, of course. But I want to remind you that in a society today where we're constantly like narrowing in and focusing on these like really tiny little things, think big picture, and that will encompass all of these things. It never ceases to amaze me when I do a lot of training on like specific testing for hormones or gut health or any of these different really specialized tests that are happening right now, that we learn like these really crazy like little hormones or detox pathways or little things that happen. And then it's like, okay, well, great. So like we learned like the mechanisms of all these things, but then how do we treat them? And then to treatment, we like eat cruciferous vegetables, get your sleep, stress management can cause, or, too much stress can cause this. So managing your stress is really helpful. Eating vegetables and fruit and antioxidants. And so it always never ceases to amaze me that whenever we're learning these like really detailed things to like zoom back out, and it's always the same information, right? It's always like the same things that can be really helpful at improving our entire overall health. So let's go ahead and get into the 10 biggest things that I think are helpful for gut health. Number one, best thing you can do for your health, including your gut health, is to eat a balanced diet. And I know that this is a really like subjective, like what does that mean? In my opinion, what a balanced diet means is a lot of whole foods, so not a ton of highly processed foods. One way you can look at highly processed foods in terms of carbohydrates is to look at the total carbohydrates to fiber ratio. That ratio should be 10:1. So for every 10 grams of carbohydrates, there should be 1 gram at least of fiber. And that can kind of help you gauge, is this a really highly nutrient devoid, nutrient stripped product or not? And so I think that's a really great way. But I think in general, eating fruits, vegetables, lean animal proteins, healthy fats, like those are going to be the foundation of what we all should be eating to get the widest variety of micronutrients in terms of vitamins, minerals, enzymes, antioxidants, all of those types of things. And then I would say fill in your health or fill in your diet with the other stuff 20% of the time. And I think that number can change based on your goals and what's going on. Some people might need to increase that to 90% of the time. I think other people may be able to do it 70% of the time and be okay with it. But I think it just depends on kind of like what's going on. But I always tell my patients in terms of a balanced diet, protein, fat, fiber at each meal is going to help create a balanced diet. And like I said, just choose a wide variety of fruits and vegetables, different types of animal proteins, your healthy fats, and you'll be good to go. Number 2 is to stay hydrated. It's not something that we think about a lot, but hydration, including focusing on your electrolytes, which are calcium, magnesium, sodium, and potassium. Those are little spark plugs for every single thing in our body, can be really helpful at everything in health, honestly, like brain fog, energy crashes, hormonal health, digestive health, neurotransmitters, mental health, like so many different things. And so focusing on keeping your body hydrated well will keep your digestive system moving, which is elimination is a key part of gut health. Number 3 is regular exercise. I say this to everybody who will listen. A daily walk is so helpful for literally every single thing. It increases the motility in your GI system. It also helps soothe your enteric nervous system, which is the second brain, as a lot of people call it, or the stress response inside of your GI tract. And so I think walking is great. I think lifting, I think whatever daily exercise that you can do to make yourself feel better is what you should do. And it doesn't have to be like formal, like HIIT workouts all the time. Like I said, just getting in your steps, lifting 3 days a week, doing that Zumba class, like whatever you want to do is totally fine. But moving your body daily can keep the motility moving, help with your stress response, help with gut bacteria. There's all kinds of research on all the benefits that exercise gives us. Number 4 is manage your stress. I can't tell you how important this is for gut health for so many different reasons. I always think so when I get like a GI map test, for example, or other gut health tests, which are great tests, super helpful. I think that a lot of practitioners look at these and they don't really ask the questions on why. They just start to treat what's there. But in my opinion, whenever we look at lab testing for my patients, I'm always asking myself, like, how did you get to this place? Like, what was it? And sometimes it's like parasites or molds or things like that we were exposed to, of course, but a lot of times it's stress. Stress really does impact our bodies in such profound ways. And in the GI system, we have, remember I mentioned earlier, something called the enteric nervous system, which is like that second brain. So your GI system is very sensitive to this fight or flight response or this stress response that so many of us are exposed to daily. So some different things that can happen when we're stressed is bile acids and enzymes can be disrupted. So for example, if you are stressed a lot, you may notice that your mouth is way more parched. We're just not producing as much saliva as we normally do. Well, digestive enzymes start in your saliva. And that's what kind of teaches your brain, teaches your body that food's coming, activate the rest of the GI system. And so if you just are stressed and you don't have all that saliva and not enough digestive enzymes get in there, then the rest of the GI system is also going to struggle a bit. Same thing happens with bile and acids. When we are stressed, our body doesn't make as much stomach acid and things like that to break down food. We also know that stress impacts our gut microbiome, which is all those little bacteria in there, the trillions of them that we have, that are responsible for so many different functions in our body. We also know that we create more inflammation. We also know that we slow down motility. We know that detoxing is impaired from stress. We know that nutrient assimilation is impaired by stress. And we know that we develop nutrient and mineral deficiencies and imbalances when we're stressed. And so focusing in on stress management by identifying and validating emotions, talking to your therapist if stress is too high, and you need tools to manage it, processing through events and stressors in your day, doing leisure walks, yoga, meditation, getting sleep, getting downtime, checking in with your nervous system regularly, taking deep breaths. These things are all things that will help regulate this nervous system in a world full of nervous system dysregulation. Number 5 is avoid smoking and excessive alcohol consumption. I think some alcohol is fine. Our bodies can handle it. We have detox systems for it, but let's call a spade a spade. Alcohol is poison. It doesn't do anything helpful for us. I personally indulge in alcohol sometimes and enjoy a drink or two, but let's be real that it's doing nothing helpful for us. And so I think just looking at, again, what health concerns you have and how much you can handle or not is really important from an individual standpoint. And just realizing that excessive alcohol consumption and smoking can really damage the lining of the gut. So if you've ever heard of the word like gut dysbiosis or leaky gut, that is meaning that the gut lining of your small intestine becomes a little bit more like disintegrous and isn't great for letting out different molecules, and things that should not be in your bloodstream should stay in the digestive system. And so, like I said, alcohol and smoking can contribute to that, as well as just an imbalance in gut bacteria in general. Number 6 is avoid the use of unnecessary antibiotics. Now, antibiotics save lives for sure. They are amazing and so glad that we have them. But if you don't need them, don't take them because they can kill off both good and bad bacteria throughout the body. And so the unnecessary use or too much antibiotics can kill off all of your good bacteria and create a really systemic problem of antibiotic resistance, which is a really big problem to have, and we don't want to face that. So making sure that your provider is culturing your samples, getting you the right antibiotic, you take your antibiotic when you do get one for the entire length that you were supposed to. All of these things can help that. And I always say a little quick rule of thumb with antibiotics is if you do have to take one, take a probiotic, like multi-strain probiotic with a bunch of strains of lactobacilli and bifidobacteria. Take one of those for about 3 times the length that you took the antibiotic. So if you took an antibiotic for 10 days, take a probiotic for 30 days, and that will help kind of re-inoculate your gut. Other medications can also disrupt gut bacteria. One of them is birth control. And so if you are on birth control, there is a really great product called Vitanica OC Companion that has nutrients that you're missing from taking birth control, some liver support, and also some probiotics as well. Number 7 is to get enough sleep. Again, this goes with that nervous system dysregulation, but getting enough sleep, 7 to 8 hours, can help you regulate your stress better, balance your blood sugar, produce the good hormones that you need, antioxidants, melatonin, help you detox. There's a whole bunch of great things, and I've had a whole bunch of videos on sleep as well. But it also can help promote good gut health by helping you grow the good bacteria in your gut. So if you want good gut health, don't skimp on your sleep. Number 8 is trying probiotics. Now, this is a thing that is very widely just recommended. Everyone's like, well, you need to take a probiotic. Everyone needs one. Everyone does not need a probiotic. I've had a lot of people that take probiotics for years at a time and they don't notice any change. They just do it because they think they're supposed to. By that time, your gut's probably fine with the strains that you're taking and you don't need to take those regularly. For my patients that do need probiotics, generally speaking, if you need probiotics, and they're going to help the health concerns that you have, they work like a charm. So I would get a good multi-strain probiotic and work with a provider on this. There's spore-based probiotics. There are different strains. There's a whole bunch of different aspects of probiotics, but I generally recommend a multi-strain probiotic with something around 20 billion to 50 billion colony-forming units or CFUs in it. That's the amount of bacteria that's in there. And see how it goes. If you've taken, like I said, a lot of antibiotics, you've been taking a lot of pharmaceuticals like birth control or PPI, proton pump inhibitors, those types of things can be helpful for people. You can always give it a try if you are having gut health issues. If you're not feeling any change on that, that's probably not the area of gut health that you need help with. And I think it's a very big misconception that like probiotics equal gut health. Like there's a lot of different aspects to it. And sometimes I think that we overgeneralize by just saying, take a probiotic. And if that doesn't work, I don't know what's wrong with you, and we get frustrated. But there really are so many different aspects of this in which I say stress and diet really comprise such a huge part of it. I will also give you a caveat here that if you do a food sensitivity test and a million things comes back, I consider that more of a symptom than a root. So if you have food sensitivities, what's actually going on? Do you have nutrient deficiencies, inflammation, gut health imbalances, dysbiosis? Like what's going on to create all those food sensitivities and the inability to eat a wide variety of foods, instead of just cutting those out and like making that the whole thing? Because I don't think that we should have to cut out massive amounts of food to be healthy. I think that we should have a body that's able to eat wide range of foods. So just a small caveat, if you have gone down that route, I know a lot of practitioners do food sensitivity testing. I think we're getting a little bit more away from that and recognizing the fact that that's actually not a root. That is way more of a symptom than a root. But if you run into that, just know that that's my whole thing about food sensitivity tests. Number 9 is avoid processed and sugary foods. Now, I don't think you have to eliminate. I think that, we talk about the black and white mindset on here quite often. It's not an elimination. It's back to that number one. It's like an 80-20 type of a thing. Try to get your fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats in as much as possible. That is truly going to make you healthier from head to toe. Every single system, all the same things. For sugary foods, it can disrupt the gut balance bacteria in there a little bit, and it can also lead to inflammation. So you really do want to make sure that you are not over consuming those really, really highly processed foods. And then number 10, consider taking digestive bitters, apple cider vinegar, or even a digestive enzyme. Now, I do give these out to my patients sometimes and recommend them, but I always talk to them about how to get your own bile acids and enzymes working for you. I'm not a fan of just like throwing in things that your body should naturally be making. And I think that if your body's not, people with gallbladder issues obviously have trouble with digestion. So taking some ox bile can be helpful for people who have had their gallbladder removed, but also if you haven't, let's look at why your body's struggling to digest food. And a lot of time that comes from nervous system dysregulation. But I do think that adding in a little bit, like a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar with some hot lemon water, can be really, really helpful at stimulating your own digestive juices. And I also think that if you don't like the taste of apple cider vinegar, which I totally understand, it's very potent, take something like a digestive bitters. There's pills for that. There is little tinctures that have like fennel and ginger and peppermint and dandelion that can really just help your body digest food, especially while you're getting to the root. Again, this is not the root of things. This is just helping you in the process become more comfortable, less bloated, less constipated, less stomach pains, less acid reflux, those types of things. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you have friends and family who are struggling with GI issues, think they're struggling with gut health issues, have been told by some practitioner that they have gut health issues or leaky gut or something, share this video with them. And let's zoom out a little bit and figure out how we can just support a lifestyle for gut health instead of these million supplements and just getting really frustrated and how expensive and how time consuming it is to heal gut health issues. I don't think it has to be that hard. Which brings me to, I have a brand new free on-demand training talking all about hormonal imbalances in general, including GI stuff, that talks about what your doctor might be missing, what the root of these things are, and I would love for you guys to download it, get access to it. If you like this channel, you'll love this free training too. And it just talks about how to basically reclaim your life by balancing your hormones to have fewer mood swings, energy crashes, without adding a whole bunch of extra stress to your schedule. It is a busy time right now, busy life. I know every single one of my patients is busy out there. No one's got time to add an 8-step routine to their life to heal. So let's keep it simple, big picture, and get you healing and feeling better. And this training is exactly what I recommend on how to do that. So I will leave that in the description below, but it's allydameron.com/training, super simple. If you haven't hit that button yet, hit the subscribe button to be notified anytime I post new content related to women's health, hormones, or holistic health. I'll see you guys in the next one.